It's one of life's milestone moments, the wedding day. The walk down the aisle, or down a short incline in a field, is the culmination not only of hopes and dreams, but also of a lot of planning. From the wedding dress and attire to the flowers and photographers, there's a long list of things to do and decisions to be made. And Manchester, and Vermont in general, are popular places for couples to tie the knot. While the attention is rightly focused on the wedding couple and the memory being created, these events are also major economic drivers. According to the website weddingreport.com, the average cost of a wedding in Vermont runs around $32,000, higher than the national average of about $27,500. Breaking it down more locally, in the Bennington County region there were 388 weddings performed in 2016, with about the same number projected for this year. Couples and their families spent around $30,000 on average, slightly under the overall state average, but still higher than the national average. And nearly half of these couples travel to this area for their wedding, presumably many from out of state. But there's more to the economic impact than just the direct spending on the wedding. Couples and their guests also go out and shop and dine during the days around the big event. Total sales added nearly another $12,000 per wedding during 2016 on average, according to weddingreport.com, which when multiplied 388 times is not insignificant. There's a lot to do behind the scenes, and one of the newer venues in town is at the Inn at Manchester, which constructed a wedding event barn 2 years ago and now does about 26 weddings a year, says Nancy Haynes S., a wedding planner and innkeeper at the Inn at Manchester. She discussed what makes the Manchester area a popular destination for weddings.
Manchester in general is just a great town. I mean, there's so much to do. A lot of people come from New York City and Boston and all the surrounding larger cities, and they come to vacation just to get away. So from what we've seen, a lot of these people have been vacationing here for years and have made it kind of a second home. And so when they think of somewhere they want to go to, it's close enough by that people can get to it easily, and but it's far enough away that you feel like you're somewhere different. And there's so much to do in town. So when people come, it's not just for the wedding. They're also making a weekend out of it. So there's the shopping, and then there's the hiking and the river and all the great things to do in town that makes it just a nice destination. We're a range from probably about 40 people is the smallest we've done so far, up to 175. So 125 is kind of our favorite number, but we can go anywhere in that range. It's also bringing in people that haven't been to town before, haven't been to Manchester, so it's their first time, and they fall in love with it, and we see those folks coming back. Either to stay with us or that have been at other weddings, and we see or hear that they're coming back to other locations as well. So I think it's the day of and the weekend of that it's affecting us economically, but I also think it's that repeat business that it's drawing up as well.
The Equinox Resort is another popular venue for couples seeking a Vermont wedding setting. They do about 45 weddings a year, says Charlotte Callahan, the hotel's wedding planner and coordinator. There's a lot of work that goes into it once the date is set and the contract signed.
Next big step for us is the menu tasting. That's when we have an opportunity to sit down with the couple, and if their parents would like to join, they're welcome to. Chef will serve a variety of appetizers, entrees, desserts, for them to get a sense of what we're offering for the menu. And that also gives me an opportunity to really work out the schedule of events. So from ceremony to cocktail reception to what we do inside the dining room, when the speeches and dances and how that will play out throughout the evening. So we have a pretty good idea of how it should go. They're welcome to provide their feedback. So the nerves come on the Thursday usually, when it's just the bride and groom who have never done this, so they have their concerns about what can go wrong, whereas I'm, the calming voice just saying it's all going to be okay. So the couples usually find us, whether they have a relationship to Stratton or the area, or their family has a house located nearby, but more and more couples are just finding us, I guess, online, but Vermont in general is becoming very popular. People want to make their day special, and so they feel like this destination is something that'll add to the weekend that's a little bit different than what their friends are doing. Vermont's located just close enough to Boston and New York, so it's not a huge effort to get up here. It's a 3-hour drive or so, and then you're here. You can park the car, and there's so much to do once you're on site in Manchester, from the outlets to the hiking trails, spa, golf course. So it's a really great spot to just invite your guests and feel comfortable knowing that everybody will have something to do. So yes, and that economic repercussions of it is enormous, I'd have to say. Just even guests, we average about 150 to 200 guests per wedding. Most of these guests have never been to Manchester before. Some have never even been to Vermont. They get here and they say, "This is amazing. I can't believe we've never been here. We're booking our next trip, for winter time to go skiing." So not only the day of that weekend, but for years to come, we keep seeing the repeat customers from these weddings.
But it's not just the venue. Several restaurants also get involved as the caterers. One of them is Bistro Henry, and owner and chef Henry Bronson explains what they do.
A wedding couple, it can come from just about anywhere. I mean, we've been catering weddings. We've probably got hundreds of grandchildren at this point. The process is fairly simple. You contact us, you tell us you're getting married. We start with the where, when, and how. Our thing is we love to make weddings happen. We are absolutely delighted to see people have great parties, and that's really what it's all about. We try to make them stress-free because there's a lot of emotional. These things can be kind of emotionally charged, and that leads to some interesting stuff, and that's where it comes in for us. We've done hundreds of weddings. In theory, the bride and groom we're working with have only done 1, 2, 3, I don't know, maybe up to 5. I think we did a 4th one once, and that was kind of okay. But that might have been my brother. I don't know. But
It will probably come as no surprise that June is the most popular month for a wedding, followed closely by July and August. The least likely month for a wedding is February, but on the other hand, that's one of the most popular months for the big question to be popped, driven probably by Valentine's Day falling on February 14th. But in the end, it all comes back to love and romance, as a couple ties their fortunes together and begins married life. It's the end of one journey and the start of another. For the GNET TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.